Gaias, welcome. So you're here because you are on a path of rising the divine feminine energy. Maybe you are on a twin flame journey. You've met somebody that you think might be your ultimate soulmate. You've heard of this mythical unicorn relationship, the twin flame relationship. Or maybe you're just here because you know me and you want to heal and awaken yourself to the next level, and you are hearing the buzzword of mother wounds, or maybe you've heard me mention it. So I want to talk about the importance of healing the mother wounds, and this does definitely impact our relationship to whatever, if it's a soulmate relationship, a twin flame relationship, an office relationship, it impacts our relationships, the mother wounds. So first of all, we'll dive into what are mother wounds, and then I'll give you some really powerful tools, secrets, so you can pattern yourself, so you can expand yourself into having the relationship that you want, so that the relationship you're in can grow and move forward from maybe even subconscious wounds that you didn't know were there. So we're going to dive in on the level of spirit, on the level of psychological patterns, on the level of epigenetics, on the level of maybe even some ancient mysteries, who knows. So let's strap on our seatbelts and dive right in. So are mother wounds stopping you from true love? Are you in a healthy relationship? Are you feeling nourished? The feminine mother aspect is nourishment, is care, is expression of emotion. She is able to express her own emotions and tell you she loves you. She is supportive in a way that is not overbearing. She's listening. She is encouraging. She sees your gifts. So she, being not necessarily your mother, but the divine mother energy, is going to need to be healed in you, and that can help you to have a healthy relationship. Now, if you didn't get the healthy, good, juicy stuff from your mother, if she had some blocks, emotional traumas, inability to express herself, she couldn't set boundaries, if there were all kinds of divine feminine wounds or self-hatred or low self-esteem, or she wanted to be more like the Superman, supermother, and she was not able to really embody this divine feminine essence and deliver it in a way that would inspire you to be the best that you are, then it's okay to admit that maybe there is room to grow in yourself where your mom couldn't grow, and that you can step up where she can grow up and be there for you. So we're adults here. I imagine you're an adult. If you're watching this video is designed for adults. So this is an opportunity for you to, and all of us, myself included, to become more aware of what's been stopping us from having the deepest level of soul-shattering intimacy and bliss with our partner. So I'm Dr. Amanda Noel. I'm the founder of Aphrodite University, and I was on the twin flame journey from kindergarten, and it took me until my mid-30s for me to meet finally and manifest what I would consider is my twin flame. He is my beloved, and I don't know if there's just one twin flame. I just know that I am grateful to wake up every morning with my partner and to work through life and walk through life with him in the mystery, and to have a beautiful sacred union that I can count on, and that I can count on will hold us. And also when it's tough times, I can count on that I can put everything into it, and that my partner will do the same, because it has passed through the tests of time. We've been together for almost a decade now, and we just keep growing stronger and tighter and learning more. So first of all, what are mother wounds? Let's break it down. So I'll cover what are the mother wounds, how do our mother wounds stop us from receiving love, the symptoms of mother wounds, how do you heal them? And first of all, I wanted to make a shout out to my own mother, who I love and adore, and who's such an inspiration. And it wasn't always easy for us, and it's a journey. I want to acknowledge, now that I am a mother, and now that I get to see what it's like on the other side of it, oh my gosh, a shout out to mothers all over the world, just to keep your children alive and to be giving so much of yourself. I never knew how hard it was. So if you're a mom, you get it. If you're not a mom, I just want to take a moment to address how challenging it can be. And if you are one of the moms that had mother wounds and you're going, why couldn't my mom do it? Just want you to put yourself in her shoes for a moment and just say thank you for doing your best. And I want to thank you personally, from me to you who's watching, for doing the work yourself, for becoming a mother to yourself so that you can mother all that you touch, whether it's your children or a project or the earth or your dreams, making this place a better earth. Thank you for being here and for doing the work. And thank you to our mothers for getting you here. So what are the mother wounds? Mother wounds are the emotional and psychological pains, or even I would say spiritual, energetic, metaphysical, because I work on that level as well, that are caused by the hurts that are inflicted upon us by our mothers or primary caretakers. Now, most people are mothered by mothers, but sometimes it could be a grandmother, or it could be a guardian. It could be, if you were adopted, it could be your adoptive mother. It could be a stepmother, something like that. But the emotional and psychological pains that are caused generally stem from age 0 to 8, but it does go beyond this. But this is probably the most concentrated time in our life that we have the mother wounds. And then, of course, we go through sort of another phase in adolescence where we're both separating and identifying as an individual apart from our mothers, as well as craving that she model to us how to be an adult in the world, so that we both separate and we also admire our mothers. And there is a little bit of sometimes polarity in the mother-daughter or mother-child bond, where we need her in the early ages. We still need her, but then we gotta get out from under her roof, under her rules, under her own energy. And sometimes this process is painful. Mother wounds typically do come from experiences as well as, of course, her general energy, but it can then arise from childhood experiences and energy later in adulthood. So the majority of the impact will probably come from childhood, but of course, we are always evolving and changing, but our childhood psychology really does create the foundation for us in later years. And it's very deep. It can be challenging to repattern. But in older years, it can be a little bit lighter, I've found. However, adult traumas can also be very real and difficult. And I work with adults, but a lot of times the conversations we're having are still around the childhood and identifying how that childhood wound is showing up today in present time. So a lot of times we're living from the past, and when we can rewrite the past, we can move forward in the future. And vice versa, I think when we heal the situation with our lover, we're then healing the child from the past and even healing past generations in our lineage, so we can cut the chains and move forward. Some causes of a mother wound can include neglect, rejection, criticism, physical or verbal abuse, manipulation, and or guilt trips. And I would also say that a mother doing this to her child isn't the only way. It could also be the child rejecting the mother because she felt rejected as a child. Maybe in teen years, if she felt rejected as a child, later in her teen years, she will say, "You're not cool. I don't like you. I'm angry at you." If the child feels neglected, maybe she will go and find a boyfriend that's the bad boy, stay up late, drop out of school, or maybe be an overachiever and travel all over doing competitive sports, because of a deep-seated early childhood feeling, a sensation, or an experience of neglect, rejection. If a mother was criticized by her mother or parents, oftentimes she will pass down that criticism. Sometimes this gets more distilled each generation, and it can go from severe physical abuse, and maybe the great-grandparents, the grandparents have like a mild abuse, physical abuse, and then it can be just like verbal abuse and then criticism. So a lot of times, if we come from a happy childhood, it's taken multiple generations. And really, oftentimes as a psychic, as a mystic, what I look at is there will be a violence coming from war trauma that will come from really difficult times, very intense things like slavery, persecution, alcoholism, coming to suppress the pains that were done in a disenfranchised society, such as colonization or things like the war, rape traumas, things like that, that happen not just to one person or even one family, but more as a society. So a lot of people that I work with, especially in America, come from pretty stable homes if they were born in the recent generations. But the older they are, the tendency for there to be more, let's say, consciousness that is a bit heavier, a bit more on the abusive side, a bit more pain. So each generation seems to be in some ways getting lighter. And if things are not clear and healed, we can see maybe depression remaining, or internal pain and turmoil, but less of the extreme physical abuse things happening because our society has evolved. Common signs of a mother wound are going to include things like low self-esteem, having very poor boundaries with others. This can hold a woman back from her career. It can hold her back from finding healthy relationships. Intense feelings of guilt or shame. So when she has those intense feelings of guilt or shame, she can become that human doormat. She meets a great guy, but then she shrinks down smaller and smaller, and she doesn't feel good enough to be around him, and manifests him cheating or moving on, or something like that. Or she's attracted to someone that was maybe not as great as he seemed at first, because she has this guilt or shame pattern that comes from the mother wound. So who we pick is often a mirror of who our mothers were, or how we've integrated the mother wound or not. So my intention is for you to have an incredibly fulfilling relationship with your ultimate beloved, if that's something you want, to have really beautiful relationships, to be able to be a part of this new earth, new wave that we're all creating together. And hopefully this golden era is feeling like it's on its way to you. And so by healing our relationship with our mothers, honoring our mothers, whether they were the best mother or if they had a lot of lessons to learn, maybe they still have not learned, you showing up to do this work will create an incredible portal for the next generations to come. And we do need this for planet Earth. Our Mother Earth is a mirror, is a reflection of how we see her, as we see the Divine Mother in ourselves, and how we see our biological mother. Our mother is a map, a mirror of our subconscious mind, of how we see the Divine Mother. Of course, where we are now is a mirror of our past. So we got here from our past. You're no longer in the past, but if we're still regarding the past as some terrible thing, oh, my mother was abusive, my mother was such a raging bitch, my mother was just completely didn't deserve to be a mother, I hate my mother, all these things, if they're negative and we haven't healed them, integrated them, and see her in her perfect expression of the Divine Mother, even if she was not a great mom, if she dropped us or abused us or was not there for us, neglected us, we can still see, wow, this is a distortion of the Divine Mother reflected perfectly in the mucky mess of humanity. But the lessons that it taught me were, the strength that it's given me are how I want to be as a mother now that I'm responsible and sovereign. Get to be this. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. And feeling all the elements of nature, Mother Nature around you, feeling all the abundance, all the gifts that your mother did give you, even if it was just the gift of life. Your mother gave you so much. She kept you alive. You're here today. So my intention is that you feel that gratitude, and just taking a deep breath into the heart and the womb or belly. So the pain of the mother wound is deep, and it affects us in many ways throughout our lives. And this can include the way we relate to other people. And again, this could be romantic. It could be if your mother wound was your mother never gave you enough and you always had to fight for yourself. Maybe you have that corner office and you have lots of money coming through, but you don't feel like your other coworkers can understand you. You feel isolated, or maybe you feel that in order to fit in, you have to perform and people please because that's what your mother did, or your mother didn't see you. So all these patterns can stick in us and then evolve. And whether our life is glamorous and fabulous on the outside or not, on the inside, if we have that neglected child or the child that didn't feel fully supported, it can be difficult to relate to other people. Our mother relates, it represents the ability for us to bond. So we are bonded with our mothers. We actually are full of the oxytocin bonding chemical when we are in utero, and also when we are nursing, when we are being nursed by our mothers, and the mother who's nursing also shares the oxytocin. So the oxytocin levels are going to allow us to feel really relaxed, feel really safe, feel really held, even feel sort of that sedated feeling like, oh, I had my milk, I'm good. So if you are feeling constantly tense, maybe your mother ripped you off her boob a few months too soon. We really should be nursed for about the first 2 years of our life. So many women have hormone imbalances. They're rushing off to work. They're pushing in their careers, that they don't give the time and neurochemicals in the milk to develop the neurochemicals to have all that balance of bonding, bliss, the anandamide, the serotonin, the cocktail of like, I'm happy, nourished. So these are the divine feminine feel-good chemicals that will cause us to feel safe in the world, to feel like we can cry and know that the boob will come, that we can communicate and express ourselves and know that we'll get what we need. So if we didn't have that, if we were removed from mom too early, maybe even something small, a typical mother wound can happen if your mother was hospitalized or you were hospitalized for a week when you're 2 years old and you were separated. This can create a mother wound, and the child becomes callous. The child has to learn to survive, is very angry, and then the mother comes back, and then the child isn't as open. So what the mother needs to do, which she usually won't do, is she needs to say, look, I was in the hospital for a week. I'm here for you. I'm going to rebuild that bond, even if you kind of seem to not need me, even if you're rejecting me. A lot of little toddlers or babies, after they've been separated from their mothers, when the mother comes back, the child will be a little bit cool, a little dissociative. And a lot of moms will go, okay, I'm so busy. I'll just take this as a sign my kid's good. And we're walking around with a society of zombies that have been disconnected from the divine mother, and mother is feeling disconnected. And we've all been put on these sort of substitutions for the mother, for the formula. We get put on an iPad or a phone because mommy's not available. But what we need is we need our tribe to come together. We need more mothers to come together, to work together. And we often are malnourished for what we needed to get. So it's challenging. I understand as a mom, it's really hard. Pain of the mother wound can affect us regarding our ability to set boundaries. So if you struggle with setting boundaries, if you feel like almost like there's a noose around your neck when you want something, you feel like you can't speak up maybe in particular situations. Like maybe you can speak up at work, but you can't set boundaries in the bedroom. You're like, I don't want them to think I'm weird. I don't want them to judge me for this, so I'm not going to say anything. Overgiving, that's a sign of a lack of a boundary, oftentimes from a mother wound. Our ability to emote, to share our emotions, how we feel. Sometimes people won't even realize how they feel. And so they won't then say to their partner, when you said this, I was angry. When you came late, I felt hurt. And the tension levels can build. And if they're not expressed, if the emotions aren't released, communicated and moved through, then big blowouts can happen 3 years down the road, 5 years, 10, 30 years down the road. Divorce happens when we haven't emoted in a healthy, productive way. This can relate to the mother wounds. It's how we perceive love. Sometimes people will have people that want to love them, and they'll push the person away and say, your love is, what they'll say is, you don't really love me. You don't really love me. You're not giving me enough. It needs to be like this. A lot of women will have really incredible potential partners, maybe even their twin flame knocking on their door, and they'll sabotage it because of the perceptions in their mind that were developed from their childhood. So one woman I worked with, I can say, had a very challenging situation and was separated from her mother. And as a child, she was constantly angry at her mother. And actually, her mother suicided. And that's a heavy thing. Of course, she's going to have some mother wounds, rightfully so. But because her mother never wanted to be there, her pattern was, I'm angry at you for leaving, for not wanting to be with me. And so that voice in her, that pattern in her was, I'm angry at you for leaving me, for not wanting to be with me. Started to just rule every relationship she was in. And anytime a partner was like confused or not totally secure in the relationship themselves, they would speak to her like, hey, I want to know, let's talk through the problems. And every time she would say, you think I'm a problem, you don't think I'm good enough. What, do you not like my body? Do you not like this about me? And she would turn it on them, and she wasn't aware that really he was actually insecure, and he had matching mother wounds because he oftentimes would not have been affirmed by his mother that he was enough. So this is where a lot of times we'll have conflicting mother wounds, and the perceptions that we have can create an imprint that's very a low vibrational frequency that's attracted to another person with a low vibrational frequency. So how we perceive love and respect ourselves, that is going to, how we respect ourselves is going to mirror everything, right? So if we don't respect ourselves, no one can respect us. If our mothers didn't respect themselves, that can easily get passed down to us. So how do our mother wounds stop us from receiving love? So as I've said, mother wounds can have a significant impact on our relationships. And we may not even know it. We may not even know that we are we are vibing with the wounds that our mother had, that we are inheriting her pain. We are inheriting her suffering oftentimes. So that's why we want to know our mothers. We want to have conversations with our mothers. We want to ask her about her early childhood, her teen years, her 20s, and getting on her own feet financially in relationships. If we don't have these discussions, we can't understand our mothers and where they were coming from, and therefore maybe where we're coming from. A lot of times imprints will be passed on at the same age. So if your mother had some traumatic incident happen at age 23, maybe she was assaulted, what was your energy like at age 23? So if we don't know the history of our mothers, we don't have an open relationship, we're not conversing with her, we're going to miss out on useful information. It's not possible to know everything. She might not remember everything. She might not want to disclose everything. She might be passed on. You might not even know your biological mother. But the more information you know, the more you can understand how this impacted her and therefore you, and also how this is currently influencing your love relationships. What your mother felt is significant. What you felt growing up with her is even more significant. And how you felt as a child that was not healed is important to be aware of. So if you've done the healing work and you feel great, then likely you're in a healthy partnership that's fulfilling to you. If you have yet to heal it, that's where you might have runners, cheaters, flaky people not texting you back, someone that wants to be with you but they just can't because there's too much distance or incompatibility. So that avoidant kind of toxic, frustrating pattern is going to hook into parent patterns, mother wounds. And we'll talk about father wounds in another video shortly. Mother wounds can lead to the development of fear-based mindsets, including the difficulty in trusting and connecting with others, a difficulty in setting healthy boundaries, and overall a lack of self-confidence. So mom is everything to us. She is our world. When we're little, we see her. Well, she literally is our home. We are in utero, in her womb. She is the whole galaxy. When we're a tiny little nothing, we look out and we go, wow, this vast watery universe. All there is mom, everywhere to look. She's the cosmic sky. And we grow into her womb, and then we're born into the world. And she gives us milk, and we're completely dependent on her. or these tiny little vulnerable babies, and how she treats us can really impact how we're doing in that moment, or how she doesn't treat us, how she touches us, how she speaks to us. And then from that little one, the birth and the little baby, we're growing into, toddlers, school years, and we learn to become independent. If our mother was either over bonded to us, codependent, or under bonding, avoidant, that will create our attachment style. So maybe you have a healthy attachment style. Maybe you had a mom that was there for you when you needed it, and then gave you space eventually when you're old enough, and really respected your opinions, saw you as the creator of your own reality, and honored that you had the answers. And maybe if she saw you doing something that wasn't safe, she would butt in and say, look, I'm sorry, I don't think this is safe. Were there a lot of clashes in your childhood or your teen years? And if so, this probably was an influence on your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and maybe still impacting today. There are things you can do to heal that if you are still experiencing frustration and setting boundaries, and you lack confidence, and you feel like you're not confident about having a healthy partnership. You can heal the mother wounds. These issues can create an insecure partnership characterized by patterns of criticism, control, and resentment. And it could be us that's doing the criticism, control, resentment. It could be them, or it could be both. The bickering, the fighting, or it could be one person being shut down and feeling trapped and criticized and controlled, and where they resent. So it's not happy, and that's not how we're meant to live. And we can heal through these patterns. And it starts with our parent patterns, our mother and father wounds. So I have healed my mother wounds in many different ways. I work with my clients on healing their mother wounds in many different ways. I'll talk about these. But first, I wanted to share that one of the ways that I have healed my own mother wounds is to become a mother and realize years later, almost 40 years later, 4 decades later, because I had my daughter when I was just about 40, to realize how hard it was for her, how overwhelmed she must have been. And so the pain and the suffering can be reduced when we can understand it. And as little kids, we cannot understand it. We can't understand why our moms are the way they are. But the more we can have conversations, what was it like for you? Hey, you were angry, you used to hit me, or you were very critical. I remember this happening. Why do you think that was? Where were you coming from? What were your parents like? What was your childhood like? That understanding can create a lot of healing. And one of the biggest things you can say to your mother that will open a doorway for healing is, I love you, Mom. Thank you for everything that you've given me. I'd like to connect deeper, and I'd like to understand why we've had pain and problems. I'd like to work through any issues we've had. It takes courage. It takes a lot of bravery. Mother wound symptoms include feelings of low self-worth, insecurity, and inferiority. Difficulty forming and sustaining intimate relationships. So just a little pop quiz here. Do you have low self-worth? Do you have body image issues? Do you always feel never enough? Do you have a high achieving career path and still you're really hard on yourself? Or do you play small because you're so scared of success? Do you have difficulty forming lasting relationships with people of this same sex, opposite sex, romantic, non-romantic? Do you feel scared of certain people in authority positions? This could be a mother wound. Do you have chronic feelings of guilt, of shame, or unworthiness? Do you feel like no matter what you do, you're not enough? It's not good enough. That's often a mother wound. Do you feel like an outsider in your own family? Do you feel different? Do you feel even an outsider in your community or in your own business? This could be a mother wound. Do you have emotional flashbacks to a childhood trauma? Now, a mother wound could be something your mother did that was caused by her, or it could be something that was just a trauma. And our moms represent our safe space. So if you had a broken bone, it was super painful. You run to your mom and she's supposed to make it better, but she couldn't because she's not Wonder Woman, right? But that still could be a mother wound. It could be like, wow, I went from feeling like I could always feel safe with my mom to like, I had this broken bone. I had my finger cut off in the door. And I didn't realize until years later, so I started having dreams and even dreaming about my own daughter breaking her finger off in the door, that I realized how much of a deep-seated trauma that was. And I had to work through that with my tools to feel safe and to know that my daughter was safe. Mother wound symptoms can be difficulty recognizing and expressing emotions. So a lot of adults are walking around with the toolkit of a 7-year-old child, unfortunately. I know people that they will be super, super outgoing and friendly and social when things are good, and when things are challenging emotionally, maybe they have a setback in their career or their love life, they can disappear off the mat. They don't reach out, they don't bond. This is often a mother wound, either too much codependence or a mother that abandoned them. A very intense mother wound could be losing a mother to a death, or a mother losing a sibling to a death, a mother losing her parent, or even a grandparent. Sometimes a severe loss by the mother or by someone in the family that impacts either the mother or the child. Sometimes even losing a mother wound could be a little bit further out in the generations, like a trauma in the lineage that's passed on by the mother. So that could cause the mother to shut down, not recognize, express emotions. It could cause her to not want to pick up her child. I've met moms, all different kinds of moms, and I've met even new moms that don't even touch or pick up their babies because of some kind of depression or inability to feel their own emotions. A mother wound symptom could be the lack of ability to trust themselves or others. So if you are a designer and you're constantly feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what color to choose, or you are an intuitive and you know you have these psychic downloads, but then when you're giving a reading, it's like, oh, I don't know how to trust my truth. We can cut ourselves off from our goddess-given abilities if we have a broken bond with our mother. So we want to mend the bond. And I say mend the bond, not just necessarily making friends with your mom now, but healing the broken bond, rewriting the past. So chronic physical ailments caused by unresolved emotional distress. So there was some research done, I don't have it in front of me, but basically our current health will parallel our current relationship with how we feel about our parents. Whether our parents alive or not, doesn't matter. If we feel anger, resentment, sadness, rage, whatever it is, about our parents, especially mother, then we might have an issue in our health. A lot of women have heart problems because of unresolved emotions with family members, especially mother. So grief can sit around the heart if we feel abandoned by mom, if we feel unsafe in the world, if we had a separation that was too soon and we go into sort of a PTSD state. That can create a chronic hormonal imbalance, cortisol levels. So our hormones, our chemicals, our chemistry in our body is going to parallel how happy, safe, and secure we felt with mom. And we need to heal that to be balanced today. How do we heal our mother wounds? Let's look at that. The good news is that it's possible to heal from the pain of a mother wound, and that we can transmute it so it doesn't stop us from having our twin flame union. We can heal our mother wounds whether you have a wonder mom or you just accept and love her for where she's at. But the healing process begins with recognizing that this hurt exists and to know its source. A lot of times we protect ourselves because we were so young. The pain was too much. Maybe we were confused because we're little, we don't know where pain is coming from. Maybe you're your mother was hospitalized, or maybe your mother went on a business trip when you were just a baby and you were cut off from her, and now you're aware, like, wow, that's a real mother wound symptom. I need to heal that. Or you have a sensation, wow, mom picked my sister. Mom didn't have energy for me. Why do I always get picked last to be on the softball team? Why did I always get picked last by the friend circles? Why does the man I'm totally in love with not want to leave his wife? So a lot of times these processes begin with recognizing that there's something real that's there, and just being aware of it is so powerful. And that's why I love working with my clients to help them identify it. And a lot of times this will be identified with the combination of a psychic reading to really feel into their energy field, read it, and then puzzle piece together, yes, this did happen to me as a child. Or I'll see a symbol or an energy, I'll pick up an energy, and then they'll confirm it. Maybe even a few days later, mom will call and say, yes, this happened. I did go away, or there was this issue going on. So doing the research is great, but if we can't identify it, it can be very helpful to identify it on an energy level. So once we know how we felt, the emotions, and we actually feel it and accept it and let the emotions run through, not suppressing it, not over expressing it, not making excuses for it. I'm a victim for the rest of my life because my mom was like this. Not dismissing it as something less serious than it really was. We can actually work with it. We can move forward on the healing path. One of the most important steps in healing from our mother wounds is to forgive both ourselves and, of course, our mother, and any people involved in creating or deepening your pain. So one of the mother wounds I had it's a mother and father wound, is my parents let me go to school with an abusive teacher for 2 years. He was verbally abusive, never physically in any way, but he was verbally abusive, and he picked on around 3 kids in the class, and one of them was me, and he would yell and scream and rage and throw things. And as a 5 and 6-year-old, I was very scared of him, and I was constantly afraid of getting things wrong. And so part of my anger was at this man, but it was also at mom. I told you he was rotten. Why didn't you pull me out of school? And actually, she has a lot of remorse, and she was angry about this towards herself when she realized how much of an impact it had on me. It's a hard job being a mom. It's hard to know, should I pull my kid out of school? Am I being too dramatic? There's so many difficult situations. So moms, you're doing your best. Sometimes consulting a therapist, talking to a professional, and one of the most important things is following our own intuition, which I feel like women are taking back, but for a long time our intuition was considered just a little superfluous thing or something even crazy. And so we would go by the guidelines, what the teacher says, what the church says, what the doctor says, what the standard test numbers say, versus really going with our intuitive hearts. So moms and the mother in you, that's really the place where we want to come from. It can be difficult, but through developing compassion for yourself and exploring healthier ways of relating to those involved, you'll start to feel more at peace within yourself. So it's not about forgiving the action, forgiving what the person said, what your mother said, what your mother did, what the other people in the situation did. If something really was wrong, if you were abused or if you were traumatized or whatnot, we're not making excuses like, oh, that's okay, but we are forgiving those involved, forgiving their souls, clearing it up, not holding the blame, the judgment, the resistance toward them, and you'll feel that peace and you'll be able to move on. Most of all, having the compassion for ourselves, because as little ones, we often think the person abusing us is telling us that we're not good enough because we're not good enough, when really it's them not feeling good enough, them taking out their pain onto us, and you took on their low self-worth, their abuse stories. But when we can clear the abuse, we are free. We don't have to take it on. So it starts with compassion. And that's the work that I love doing with my clients, is helping them free themselves from the karmic ties, cords, entanglements with those that were not coming from the light, and they really were coming from the light and got involved with lower vibrational frequencies. And then, my goodness, they can call in incredible partnerships, incredible love in a whole new way. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I just wanted to let you know, if you've been following me for a little while, I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you. And I also wanted to say that this week I'm opening up my calendar for a short time for twin flame activations. So during this twin flame activation session, which I've been offering for almost 11 years now, I think, I have helped women to quickly identify what it is that they're looking for, help them identify the sabotaging, limiting obstacles, all the things blocking them from what they want in love, to make a plan of action to clear it and to call in their ultimate life partnership. Maybe you've already met someone you think is your twin flame. Maybe you're already married. I don't know. But this is a session for you if you have that part of you that feels single, that feels ready for companionship, that feels ready for the divine communion, that feels ready to create and expand in relationship, and you have blocks and intimacy fears, and you're just done with them because you know that's not your truth. It's just an echo of the past. So what I'm looking for, who I'm looking for, is women who are committed, who are serious, who are ready to change, who understand that investing in themselves is the most important thing that they can do this lifetime. They're not making excuses. They have the ability to move forward. They're grown up. Maybe you are, like many of my clients, high achieving CEOs, women who run successful businesses, and you've given out your love to so many people, given service. And relationships have been something that have been more of a struggle for you. Maybe you're an incredible leader, a creative, you have this very masculine energy, and now you're ready to connect deeper into your womb space, connect deeper into your intimate, sacred sensuality, your pleasure, and to manifest your partner with pleasure and to connect with this person from a deeper space. My specialty is to use our 11 twin flame alchemy formula, which is based on an 11-step method. The 11 phases of twin flame alchemy will help you to clear your 7 plus actually 12 chakras. We work with the 12 chakra system, so that you can heal yourself fully and be, well, we're always healing ourselves fully, deeper and deeper, but to heal yourself to that place where you're like, I'm good, I'm ready for the union, I'm ready for that person in front of me. So take action now. Click the link below and you'll be directed to the application page. This is a twin flame it's a twin flame activation session application. It will help you understand yourself a little bit more by filling out these questions. Most of all, it'll help us understand you a little bit more and to see if it's the right fit for a session. And if not with me, there are twin flame alchemists on my team that can support you. And if not with them, if you're not in that right place right now, we'll give you another resource, a free bonus, a gift, or something like that, and then we'll keep you on file, because we do get applications. We have served people from over 30 countries around the world, and we do our best to serve as much as we can, but we are limited as busy moms. Actually, all of the women on my team are busy moms here to serve, and they also are real people that so we have a limited amount of time. Click the link below. I would love to serve you. I'm excited. I work with a very specific type of woman, a woman who is loving and ready to open her heart. She might also have some guards up. She is successful. She's high achieving. Money is not the issue. It's about love. It's about connection. It's about finding that chemistry. And life is short. She wants it now. She doesn't want to wait till she's dead. She doesn't want to wait even a few more years. She's ready to go. So click the link below if you're ready to explore. I would love to see you there. All right. Thank you for being here. And here's a picture of my beloved and I. The women that sign up with us will often come and work with us in person in Bali. And we have just moved into our new home in the rice fields just across the street from one of the most fabulous resorts and luxury villas. So come and visit us in person in Bali. Work with us. We'll create a twin flame self-marriage ritual for you. We work with some of the best healers locally in Bali. People from all over the world as well are on our team to help our soulmate clients quantum shift, to break free and break open their twin flame codes, and you will come home completely different, completely renewed, open, and ready to magnetize your epic beloved. All right, follow us, subscribe. Thank you. I'm Dr. Amanda Noel, the founder of Aphrodite University, a Twin Flame Alchemist, here to say you are so worthy of love. Whichever mother you were assigned to or that you chose, more likely is what I believe that you frequency attracted. You deserve true divine feminine love surrounding you. I would love to work with you if that's something that you resonate with. Apply for the complimentary Twin Flame activation session. It's a joy to create these videos with you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video, maybe a Father Wounds video. Namaste. Namaskar. Bye for now.